Our show sponsor is Robert Half Technology, who helps companies build, deploy, and operate technology in the digital world by placing highly skilled IT professionals on a contract, project, or full-time basis. Now you can browse available candidates, you can search for jobs, and you can access additional hiring and career insights online at roberthalf.com/technology. So our guest today is NJ Robinson, who is a personal HDI friend of mine. And today we are going to talk about 2021 predictions. Let me tell you a little bit about NJ first. NJ is currently the director of IT operations with the United States Air Force and a leadership speaker, trainer, and coach for his own business, High Tech Leadership. He has been in IT, like me, over 20 years, but he still gets excited about technological innovations and how it will change the future. Welcome to the show, NJ.
Thank you very much, Tom, for having me. It's such a pleasure to be here.
Love it. Thanks for taking time. I know it's a holiday week and a lot going on, but
Yeah.
as we said, we only have about 13, 14 minutes, so let's jump right in. Before we
Okay.
talk about 2021, let's talk about 2020. What notable technology, services, or product or gadget did you see that we enjoyed in this wonderful 2020 year?
So I will definitely say something that's actually been out a while, but platforms like Zoom and CVR Teams and those different collaboration platforms that really brought people together. You really saw an uptick on its use based on the pandemic and how it really brought people together and was utilized in different ways.
I agree because I know we started using Zoom at the university I'm at just as it was pre, not too much pre-COVID, but it was interesting to see how they got thrown into center stage and had to handle security things and technology things. All right, so let's just jump in and start talking about what's coming down the road for 2021. Angie, I'd like to talk about three categories that we can chat about. Let's start with this obvious one for our audience and talk about gaming. What do we see as coming down the road in 2021 about gaming?
So there's a lot of debate and difference of differing, varying opinions on this. But what I see really from 2021, in 2021, is a continuation of the of subscription-based gaming platform. Now, there's some doubts on will will it take over completely and we'll go away from the brick and mortar stores, like GameStop and such, to just downloading and streaming online. But I do see an increase of that, and it's really so. We look at PlayStation's their subscription service, and I think, and even Xboxes. I think if they're successful in their, um, I guess, re-engineering of their platform, if they're successful in it, and I think all signs are pointing that they will be, I think we'll start seeing a shift towards that, almost not like a Netflix, but very much something similar to some type of subscription of services with benefits, maybe early release access and such.
Yeah, I agree, and it's funny because I was talking to my son about a game that I played. Sadly, they're on their 25th anniversary of it. So 25 years ago, it's Myst. If you've ever heard of Myst or the Myst trilogy and things, and I was trying to download like DOS box or something to get my old
Mm.
games to emulate and play in it, but I really couldn't get it to work. And he's like, Dad, go on Steam. You can download the
Mm.
whole thing for. So I was like, I went to Steam and downloaded it. Man, it's just been great. So I agree that's going to be something big. Let's talk about a little bit on the personal side. What do you see on the personal side coming down for 2021? One of the things that I see is like the online streaming wars as we're still in COVID and people are wanting to watch, the Netflixes, the Disney Pluses, the Amazon Prime. What else do you see on the personal space coming down?
And so, if going on that same vein, I think this year would be a telling situation. I think there may be one or two streaming services that may go away because the whole thing is people are trying to get away from cable, and so and they're trying to cut their bill and they're trying to customize their viewership experience. But with all these streaming services coming along with these additional fees, there's going to be some winners and losers in that inevitably.
I agree.
So I think you're going to see more people. You're going to see more companies try to do that, but I think you're going to see a couple that either are just going to go away, or really kind of go back to the traditional television broadcasting model.
And I'd be curious to see how the two big cable companies are going to adjust, or if they're going to go down the road of Sears and Kmart and not understand that, because Sears and Kmart were the original online ordering back in the day with catalogs, and
Hmm.
they didn't survive it. So I'm hoping to see that they somehow adapt.
Yeah.
One of the other things, there's two other things I see on the personal side. One of them is the movie theaters making a comeback. There's been some predictions that movie theaters are going to make a comeback, but they're going to have to figure it out in the 2021 era. They're going to have to figure out a combination of, COVID, post-COVID, and how they fit into that.
Yeah. And so I actually, to your point, so this on Christmas evening, I actually ordered HBO Max just to watch Wonder Woman 1984. And I tell you, if I had the choice between going to movie theater and watching it at home, I would have chosen a movie theater, because at the theater you're paying for the experience.
And the
And
big
I really
screen.
miss that, watching it at home. Now I
Yeah.
can watch it anytime I want, and I had to pay $14, but it was a bunch of us watching. So from an economic
Right.
perspective, I save a lot of money.
Yeah.
But the experience, man, just being in the movie theater with the fresh popcorn, which I couldn't do anyway because I got braces now. But it's just it's the experience. So
Yeah.
I don't honestly, the convenience of being able to stream online and watch these movies at home. I don't think it's going to beat the experience of being actually in a movie theater. But Mulan came out at my understanding, it made a good amount of money, but that's because the option of watching in a movie theater really wasn't there. So it's
Yeah.
gonna be interesting.
Well, I know like Walmart started doing during COVID, they started doing their parking lot drive-in theaters kind of thing. So,
Mm,
it's kind of neat too. So
yeah.
I'm going to transition from personal into the last category of business and entrepreneurship. And I'm going to say, because this affects both me and the businesses, like
Mhm.
5G technology is predicted to hit over 500 million subscriptions in 2021. So I think 5G is going to be a big one. So let's go into the business and entrepreneurship. And before you talk, I know you have some cool things you want to talk about. I want to talk about, like, one of the biggest things that Gartner says is going to be big in the coming years is edge computing. Right now, they say it's less than 10%, but by 2025, it's going to be about 75% of everything is going to be pushed to the edge computing. What else do
Yes.
you see coming down on the entrepreneurship and business side, NJ?
Gosh. So I wanted. So I think 5G is going to be very important. And when we talked about the streaming as before and the edge computing, so it's putting the power right in the hands of the consumer at the edge, like you said, at the edge. For me, so I look at 2021 and 2020, this year, because of COVID, we saw an explosion of entrepreneurial activity. So in June, for example, 50% more businesses were starting the month of June this year alone than it was last year. In July, at a record of 81,000 businesses were registered this year. And what we saw is people, I call it entrepreneurial life hacking, using these platforms like a Zoom that was really for conferences to meet some of their entrepreneurial needs. So this year we saw Little Nas X doing concerts on Roblox, as well as Travis Scott leveraging Fortnite, a gaming platform, but he was able to host concerts on it. And now you're seeing like premium network opportunities hosted through Zoom, subscription based type of opportunities. And so entrepreneurship, I think next year for entrepreneurs is continuing that life hacking. It's identifying these platforms and kind of thinking outside the box. How do I leverage these platforms to help me increase my followership, increase my my awareness, if you will, of my brand? How do I sell on these non-traditional platforms? And I'm really excited for some of those things that I see coming forth
So,
as from
so
the entrepreneur.
Yeah, and I got to tell you this. So people that know me know I'm a big RVer, and I have an RV, and I love to RV with my wife and I. And one of the cool things that we saw this year was where we bought our RV from. Now I live in Pittsburgh, and where I bought my RV from was about 4 hours west in Ohio, and it's a big RV dealership, a family-owned RV dealership. And what they did because of COVID, they couldn't have their big gatherings at their place. They basically had their RV shows using YouTube and Facebook. It was really crazy, but it
Wow.
worked.
Wow.
The RV industry doing this sold over 500,000 RVs in 2020 alone. So you're right,
Wow.
man.
Yeah.
They're using different platforms to get
Mhm.
out there, but it worked.
Yeah. Yeah, and and we have a few minutes. So if I'm a tech developer
Yeah.
or company, I'm gonna find the ways to how do I um, decrease the go to market for my entrepreneurs and increase their awareness for the audience they're trying to reach. So real quick, there's a or it's a thing called Substack, and what it does, it helps people who do newsletters manage all their newsletters in one place, but it also gives a platform for writers and bloggers to create their subscription to create and send out their newsletters to this base that's out there. And subscription based, it really cuts down on a lot of the lead work, if you will, because if you're a blogger, you might not be so tech savvy to figure out how do I create email lists and how do I create these nice fancy newsletters. So Substack's my understanding, it kind of does this thing for you. And so I see these. If I'm a developer, I want to create something that shortens that curve, that learning curve, if you will, that allows you to directly talk to your audience, that your target audience, without filling out all the minutia of how do I work this tech or how do I figure this out.
Hmm.
So
So yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, and I think that that's going to be, you're going to see probably a lot more of these entrepreneurs, busting into the industries now with, when one
yeah.
thing goes down, other things go up, and so I want to talk about one more thing before just to get in and then and let you close it up with your final like predictions and stuff. One of the things that I saw that's coming big in 2021 is the biometric technology moving into the frictionless
Mm.
platform where there's no requirement to initiate, you don't have to touch anything to make it work, right? So that you can they're talking about facial recognition with 3D, automated, things recognizing. I guess they're predicting it's going to grow like 15% in 2021. I always think it's cool when I walk into a grocery store and I can pay with my phone without touching anything but my phone. So it's now I guess I'm going to just walk up and smile at the camera on the register and buy my goods and such. So
Yeah.
so NJ, what else do you have? We have about 3 minutes left. What else do you think's coming down the road in 2021?
Coming down the road, I want to say more social media platforms, but I don't know. I think TikTok, if you will, is going to be really big. And for the purposes of really what I kind of talked about as I'm a developer, the Instagram TikTok war is really big. But the thing that TikTok does when you're on there, allows you to reach more people, and it gives you more exposure. Whereas TikTok versus Instagram, you have to have followers for people to see your content. And I think companies that can follow that model of exposing people to their audience without needing some type of organic followership, really just being able to put it out there and allow their content and allow their hustle, if you will, it speaks for itself. I think it'll be a game changer.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I can tell you a good example of that. We have a local chocolate manufacturer here where I live, or small time. I mean, they're in Disney World now, so I guess they're not that small, but they're a little small family-owned business, and they make these things that are called the chocolate bombs, where they put a hot cocoa mix inside of a chocolate ball. They have marshmallows and cocoa, and then the actual chocolate, and you put it in hot milk, and it melts and it kind of explodes. But the point of this is somebody bought one and thought they were so cool they put it on TikTok, and they had to shut down their web server to ordering because they couldn't get enough supply to make it, is because it went viral on TikTok. I mean, just
Yes.
crazy. They sold 5,000 of these things in 1 minute, and it's a small shop. I mean, it's
Wow.
really so it's incredible, like you said, some of these social media platforms. I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah. Yeah.
And hopefully Twitch and YouTube and stuff continue on so we can continue this show.
Yes. Yes.
Anything else for closing, NJ, before we wrap it up?
Just, I mean, just thankful to you, Tom, for putting this together and your production team. Just a great experience, and for anyone out there, love to hear from you. Want to reach out to me? I'm on LinkedIn mostly, is LinkedIn.com, INNJ Robinson. Love to hear from you, and just thank you for the opportunity.
Awesome. Thank you, NJ. And with that, we that concludes today's show. Hey, NJ, thank you so much for taking time. I know we're between, in the holidays here, and you were traveling. And for those of you who don't know, NJ just like walked in the door like 45 minutes before the show, sat down, and was ready to go. And you could tell he's just a professional at doing this stuff. So thank you, NJ.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, for the rest of you, remember to visit HDI Local Chapter's website for more information about us. And if you're watching us on YouTube, be sure to click the like button. Leave us some comments about what you think about the show, what else we could do to make it better, and things we can have on it. And then subscribe to our channels, both Twitch and YouTube, so that you can keep tuned in every week. So, thank you, everyone, and we'll see you next week.